Hi, David Johnson here, and welcome to another edition of Thai Road Trip, brought to you by Delivering Age Communications and C9 Hotel Works. Well, today we're in Hua Hin, and we are with the CEO of Banyan Hua Hin, Tjeert Kwant. Tjeert, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
Hua Hin's been an incredible destination over the last, well, it's been an incredible destination for years, of course, but it's a destination under some change.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask you about that. What do you see is changing here?
Yeah, well, David, exactly what you mentioned is there's a lot of change, but the change has started with the change in perception in the first place, because Hua Hin has been, especially when you look at domestic market, right? Bangkokian is the main market. Already in the past, 75% of the visitors of Hua Hin were from Bangkok. But still, you know, over the decades, you saw a change in the perception of Hua Hin from a sleepy beach town with a lot of retirees, where especially the older generation from Bangkok was interested to go. That has changed over the last decade, but especially in the last 1.5 years since COVID started, when Bangkok people were more forced to stay in Thailand. A lot have chosen to drive to Hua Hin in the weekends and the holidays. And you could see that this change has accelerated. So the perception of Hua Hin from the sleepy beach town into a more vibrant, hip and trendy destination, also for the younger generation.
No, that's great. Well, I mean, what are some of the key draws, some of the key sort of new draws, the key things that people really want to do? People want to get out into nature perhaps and just be more active. I mean, is that, were you seeing that?
Exactly. You know, well, what you miss in Bangkok, you have here, right? And that is nature, that's beach, that is outdoor activities, and especially when you look at nature life, cleaner air, a lot of space. And you can see that many people, they go into nature. We have, for example, more and more people who are doing hiking in the weekends here in the mountains.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of beach activities like kite surfing, wave surfing, jet skiing, but also beach volleyball. I was last Sunday here at Kautakia Beach, and you saw large groups doing volleyball, football, and all kinds of activities. So you can see, especially outdoor activities, what you are missing in Bangkok.
Yeah, that's great. And you don't often hear about the mountains too. So trail running up in the mountains, for example. Yeah. That sounds fascinating. What about the dining scene? You know, I've heard a little bit about the dining scene. I'm really looking forward to experiencing some of it. But what's changing here? Are there any examples that you can give us?
Yeah, there are. It's funny, by the way. It started a couple of years ago already with places like, for example, Airspace, which is not far from Banyan.
Okay.
Which is, by the way, a restaurant with a coffee shop and lunchroom owned by a family in Bangkok, and the daughter Kun Air. They opened Airspace many years ago. And it's a very hip and trendy place where people also use it for social media activities, make pictures of themselves with all the airplanes that hanging there, and but also the beautiful drinks, the smoothies and mixes and cakes. And there you see more and more examples.
Okay.
There's one I want to mention in particular, which is for me it's unbelievable. It's in Koh Tao, a little bit more south. It's at a lake, which is not a well-developed area yet, but it's hip and happening. It's becoming more hip and happening. But a few years ago, they opened Memory House.
Okay.
And you cannot imagine, in the weekends, it's packed, you know, tens, almost 100 plus cars are there all the time. From people from Bangkok, you can see it. Yeah. Expensive cars, by the way. And people walking around in the fields, making pictures, having these drinks. So that is especially also for the younger generation. But you can also see for the, let's say, the more fine dining, a lot of new restaurants, mainly from Bangkok, opening here in many different cuisines from many different countries. So yeah, it's becoming more fun to go out for dinner.
No, it sounds fascinating. Just to kind of relate that back to Banyan. So Banyan Hua Hin is got 3 business components, as I understand it. One is a golf course, which is the Banyan golf course, which must be over a decade old now. Yep, and you have a residential, 12 years. Have a residential component.
Yes.
And you have a long-term rental component.
Exactly.
How are you catering to this new audience? Because obviously the market's changing.
Yes. And don't forget the BBL Medical Center we have on site as well. There is a trend also that in, let's say, for example, in golf, you see that the younger generation is also interested in golf. But when you look especially at villas that we are building here, we are, and I see other places in new projects in Hua Hin as well, more modern, hip designs, more trendy design of villas are going to be offered in the market, already being offered. And we just finalized the design of a new design of villa, a little bit more hip and happening design. And we are planning to put it in the market in the Q4 of this year, which is also more catering to the more modern and younger generation from Bangkok.
Okay, that's fascinating. Tjeert Kwant, CEO of Banyan Thailand Hin, thank you so much for joining us today.
That's my pleasure.
And giving us those insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap. That's another edition of Thai Road Trip. We'll be back again soon. Thai Road Trip brought to you by Delivering Edge Communications and C9 Hotel Works. Thank you very much.